Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the story of tonight. TMZ breaking the deal that basically Spike TV is not going to be renewing TNA's Impact Wrestling contract. That basically they are on their own. Spike TV is going to be cutting ties with them. And they basically have to find another place in order to have their wrestling show. Basically, without TV, without that kind of a contract, it's going to be hard to keep the company afloat. It seems that Vince Russo, I guess you can say, is the guy who's going to end up being the fall guy of the deal. Everybody knows the story that's basically been breaking over. I think the email story happened like 2 months ago. Basically, where Vince Russo was supposed to be emailing one person. And much like, how they accidentally send out, the bad photograph, or, everybody has that, everybody's seen some sort of a movie, where basically maybe like a sex tape or something like that, or some sort of, work-related document gets emailed out to the wrong people just by basically, you're on Google and you type in the name, and it's sort of like how on your iPhone, the spell check deal that sort of autocorrects what you're putting, changes it from one thing to another. He meant to send an email to Mike TNA, and instead the email went to another guy. That guy spilled the beans, and it went all over wrestling. Spike TV was told by a whole bunch of different groups of people that Vince Russo was not respected in the wrestling business. Vince Russo was the poison that was killing wrestling. Vince Russo, for remarks that he made back in the day when he was in WCW that he's still paying for. Nobody in Japan wants to do business with him, basically, for things he said about Japanese talent back in the day. Spike TV saw the work that Vince Russo was doing with TNA back in the day and was very happy when Spike TV cut ties with Vince Russo and he left, and basically was told this guy should never be back again. Vince Russo, I don't know if there were flames up against the fire, and Spike TV was pressuring them, came out this week and basically told the truth about what was going on, that he was under contract with TNA. He is in the background. He doesn't even show up to shows, but he was a guy that they go to and asking for what's going on. He said that he was hired on to help Mike TNA and help Taz with the announcing of the show, telling stories about keeping people interested in what is going on, if that is the real case or if that's just the story that they made up trying to make everything all better. That is the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess you can say. And I don't know, this is kind of looking weird, it's kind of looking bad. I can remember, when WCW closed, being a wrestling fan back in 2001. Honestly, we all knew it was coming, but we didn't want to believe it. And seeing the deal with TNA go down right now, honestly, it reminds me a lot of that. Basically, the story broke like that before Monday Nitro. Basically, the WWE trucks were in Panama City. Basically, that Shane McMahon was backstage meeting with talent, and that tonight's Nitro was one that you wanted to make sure that you did not miss. Now with the TNA story, it's a little bit different. Basically, we could all feel the end was coming. We all were sort of hoping that Dixie Carter would pull an ace out of her sleeve and find some way to save it with Spike TV. Either they just were going to be happy with the million viewers that they were getting in the Thursday time slot, or if maybe Dixie was going to have to take the show somewhere else, in which she's going to have to do. And I think a lot of people are really looking at it like it's a miracle. That they've lasted this long with Dixie Carter, that we're going to have to see what she can do to really get this on TV somewhere. I really think the tape library is probably one of the most valuable things in TNA, I guess you can say. I think that they've got a lot of good wrestlers under contract. Not enough. And I don't think that the guys are stars enough in order for WWE to run some sort of invasion angle. If anything goes down with WWE, Vince McMahon, Triple H, I think that it's just going to be them buying the tape library. And that's going to be it. And then basically we're going to have a lot of free agents out there. Basically, indie wrestling throughout the United States is getting a good, I guess you can say, 30 guys that can work shows, and maybe those guys will be freed up and they can go work for Jeff Jarrett or something like that. Basically, WCW turned into TNA, and then TNA will turn into Global Force. Hopefully, Jeff Jarrett will be able to learn from WCW's and TNA's mistakes and move forward in the future. The casket is not closed on TNA, but it did pretty much close. I mean, the Spike TV deal, that was a lot of money that they were bringing into the company. They're not going to be putting everything on clearance just yet. They still have the shows in August where they're going to film. They broke the news today that Tajiri is going to be at those shows. I guess maybe he'll go up against the Great Muta and have a match there. But I don't know. This is a weird feeling. I mean, like when WCW closed, Vince McMahon showed up on TNT, and he was on Nitro and he was on Raw at the same time, and then the whole thing turned into the Vince angle. They were having the big match at WrestleMania. That was just weeks away, and I don't know. Like I said, they're going to film the shows in New York. That's going to get them all the way to Bound for Glory. And TNA basically is going to have to figure out if they're going to be able to keep going after Bound for Glory. I remember going to Bound for Glory last year thinking that maybe it was to be the last pay-per-view that they ever did. Definitely not the last television, but, one of the last pay-per-views they ever did. And they made it another year. But maybe Bound for Glory 2014 will be their last show. And that is what people are going to be looking forward to. They're not going to be able to sort of, push forward basically with just... with just an online show. I don't think that they are physically able to set up a network, but we'll have to see what they are able to do. Peace out.